In the studio, I have with me a special guest. First time on the weekend show, he's here with me. Good morning,
Good
the
morning.
ages.
Yeah.
How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, we give God praise. My pleasure.
Oh, good to have you here. Of course, the ages means Apostle
Yeah.
Gabriel E. Solomon.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
means, I love the abbreviation there. How did you put it together?
Yeah. It was an inspiration given to me by God, and here we are.
Fantastic. You
Yeah.
are a minister,
Yeah.
a gospel artist, a
Yeah.
producer, a performer, you're all of these amazing, great things. How do you do it? Tell us your inspiration. Where does it come from?
Well, it's finding your place in God. The book of Acts 17, verse 28 said, "In Him we live, in Him we move, and in Him we have our being." If you can understand what the birth, the suffering, the death, and the resurrection and the second coming of Jesus Christ means to you, there's so much that will come out of it as an inspiration. It's a whole motivation that sets you on fire. It's a whole motivation that gives you all kinds of energy that you need, not just to walk through life, but to get the best out of life. So,
I love to learn. I like that you just quoted a particular Bible verse that I'm well acquainted with. So thank you for that.
you're
Now
welcome.
we're going to go straight into your record label. How do you put all of this together? That means you have artists under you.
Yeah.
So how are you coming about this great idea? How are you managing to push forward your work through your ministry and, of course, through your record label?
By God's grace, staying in Kano State where so many things had happened. Yeah, all
Okay,
the
no
way
wonder
from
you spoke Hausa to me this morning.
all the way from Kano, where we've had so many crises, where we have so many riots. You see people giving up, most especially young people giving up on their talents and all that. So we're inspired just to keep them running, keep them busy in the circle of the kingdom, and also keep their skills afloat. We're
very
inspired
important.
to open up this record label called Fortitude Global Sound. And by God's grace, Fortitude Global Sound.
Fantastic.
By God's grace, we've been able to have about 6 to 7 people under it. Yeah,
Wow.
and they've been
Big
doing
man.
they've been doing beautiful well. Well, the motive behind it is not motivated by money and the rest of them. Is to keep lives running and make sure that under the circle of God's kingdom, that they are at their best and their talent is floating and being funded by God. So that's just the major.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Pastor Solomon, you're doing a great job.
Thank you so
Honestly,
much.
for seeing you, how calm you are. You can imagine how much work you're doing underground. So just tell me more about your best performance. I know you've performed so many times before. And where was your best performance? Give us a bit of your memories as to where you've experienced the best time.
Wow. Sometimes you realize that if you have had times with God, you will realize that it is your private secret place that is actually the best. If you have had time with God and you've floated it, you've had, this consistent relationship with God, you will realize that the best of it is your private, intimate time with God. Many a times you realize that adrenalines just flow when you are with the
Exactly.
crowd and the
Yeah.
rest of them. So there's this objective just to meet up with goals and the rest of them. But you see, that secret place worship is between you and God. It's a relationship that you maintain. It's not a religion. It's not relics. It's not ritual. It's you funding and floating your place with God. You get it? So I think my best performance will be, even this morning I had the best performance where I had to weep with God again. Yeah,
I love that.
I was telling someone this morning that it's only people who are vulnerable with God, that can actually have strength before men. But
That
people,
vulnerability.
yeah,
And it's quite scary,
yeah,
being vulnerable. I mean, to be vulnerable, to be open, it's a lot of,
yeah.
like me, myself, for example,
Yeah.
it's a place that I've reached and then I've still backslided. I'm now there. So what would you advise me now in a sense of that vulnerability? Because I know it's something that many Christians, struggle with. So you
Yeah.
as a minister, as
Yeah.
an artist,
Yeah.
how can you advise me on how I can, get better at that?
You can always come back to God. He's not judging you. I usually tell people, as long as you see a new day, it means the mercies of God is still upon your life. You are in the registry of His mercy, so you can always run back to Him and say, "This is my Father. I'm your baby. I'm your child. I'm here." Just
There's that song.
yeah, my daddy,
My daddy, my daddy.
your baby is
Your
singing.
baby is
So
singing.
you can always come back to Him.
I love
There's
that.
no point you get in life as long as you see breath in your nostrils that you can't get back to God. you can always go back to
I
God.
really felt that. Thank you so much.
You're
Right before we
welcome.
go, it's
Yeah.
important that I ask you,
Yeah.
the fact that you have artists under you said 67.
Yeah.
What about them, is unique for you? How do you all, bring out your unique niche? Because I know something has to be special about what you're grooming in your label.
Yeah, we are privileged to have people who are into rap. People
Rap?
it's a
Wow.
different genre of songs, different
Yes.
genre of singing. And because, one of the things that you must understand about young people is the ability for them to express themselves, most especially with their talent, with their skill, and with their giftings. And we're privileged to have, about 3, even a lady that is into rap, core rap, very hard, and like that, we have people who are into the slow genre, which people
Which is what
call
we're used
worship,
to as
and
well,
the rest of them,
exactly.
like that. So we have them based on, what their core is, what is their best, so we'll be able to project them to the world from that standpoint.
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful place to leave it, Apostle Gabriel.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so
coming
much.
on the weekend show.
Thank you,
It's been a
Aisha.
pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All
Aisha.
right,
Yeah.
and that's where we're going to leave it on entertainment and social media trends for today. My name is Aisha B. Follow me at Aisha B on the X and on Instagram, and follow The Weekend Show at Weekend Show NG. Don't go anywhere. More coming up. See you next week.